Okay, so what I thought we'd do over the next couple of weeks is spend some time refining the 18 form, trying to go into that in a little bit more detail in terms of the movement. And then after that, what I want to do is then come back to it and explore the kind of energy side of it, because this is QiGong, so we want to try and sort of tune in, if possible, to a sense of energy movement. So I thought we'd go through in detail, give you a chance to, kind of refine what we're doing, and then we'll move on after that. So just coming to a comfortable standing position to start with. Hopefully you can still see me back here, Paula. Just allow things to settle for a moment. So working with a comfortable distance for the feet apart. If that means coming slightly wider or slightly narrower, just play with it, see how it feels for you. And we're going to do some tension removal, shaking, and we're going to bring the hands up in front of the body, heavy feeling of the arms, and then on an out breath, dropping them down, shaking them. Yeah, good. Do that a few times, breathing in, breathing out. You can shake the wrists out, yeah. Be gentle with yourselves. Just using this to let go of tension. Breathing in, breathing out. Good. And the last time, breathing in, breathing out. We're going to do a couple more exercises just to get us warmed up. The first of which you should be well familiar now with the swimming dragon. So the palms are together. And we're starting off with the palms just moving a small amount in a figure of 8 sort of movement. What we're doing here is waking up the wrists. So if you want to have a feeling of, working with the wrists, put your awareness in the wrists and see how much movement you can naturally get going here. Yeah. That looks good actually, everyone, because we're trying to isolate this in the wrists and not move around too much in the, the arms and the shoulders, etc. So that all looks good. Letting go of the wrists. And then if you'd like to, you can start to expand that movement out. Notice how that makes the body feel. Allow the body to sway, perhaps, as this is happening. Yeah. Nice. Okay. And then just start to explore things as you wish to. So you can bring the hands up, or you can dive them down. You can bring them further out to the sides. You can bring them slightly behind you. You can bring them further forwards. Trying to stay for as much of the class as possible with a sense of, nice balance going right the way through the body and down into the ground. So if you go out, explore out in different directions, see if you can have a stability running through the body. See if you can tune into the body being deeply rooted through the feet. So there's a few principles that we'll be working with today. One of them is very much about that sense of balanced grounding. The other one is that we're not going to be, we do this every week, but I particularly want to tune in to it this week. We're going to be noticing that we're working well within our natural limits and using flow. So when you go out, perhaps here, even here, when we're only just starting, if you go out beyond what is your comfortable limit, notice what that does to the body. Just go out a little bit further than is your natural limit, and just start to notice how when we expand out that far, how it can bring tightness into the body. Hopefully that's making sense to you, but if not, please spacebar, let me know. But hopefully you can get a sense that when we go a little too far from our comfort zone, it can cause stress in the body. And that's exactly what we're trying to avoid. So working well within our natural limits. Okay, so to encourage this sense of deep grounding through the body, we're going to do a couple of bear moves, and bear tends to really bring the body down. At the same time as coming down through the lower half of the body, we can also have a sense of rising up through the top half of the body. So perhaps a sense of lightness through the spine and heaviness through the lower half of the body. Trying to feet are hip width apart or so, trying to have a sense of the lower body being still and grounded. Okay, so just calm through the lower half of the body. If you need to, just bring your awareness to the soles of the feet. Allow the weight to flow through the body, out through the feet. Allow the lower half of the body to be still. If you'd like to, you can put your hands on your hips. That encourages that sense of that lower half of the body grounding down. Rising up through the upper half of the body. Spine is very supportive and open and free, and it's moving in both directions. So we're going to do constant bear, but trying to do this with that sense of heaviness through the lower half of the body and lightness through the upper half of the body. Perhaps starting off with small movements, seeing if we can leave the lower half of the body undisturbed. This is just another movement to get the body relaxed, to free up tension. Perhaps we're starting to bring our awareness more clearly to the moment, to the movement, to the practice. Starting to let other things go. So heavy, grounded, balanced. Perhaps a sense of roots going out through the soles of the feet. So a sense of the feet disappearing, not disappearing perhaps, the feet growing through the ground. So a sense of balance shifting well down below our feet. Yeah. Relax the shoulders. Allow the chest to be open and free and the belly soft. Starting to allow that to calm down. And the other bear movement we'll use is the bear walking movement. And we'll use this particularly to let go of the shoulders. So again, heavy lower half of the body. If you'd like to, you can bring the feet slightly wider apart. See if that helps with that feeling of the grounding of the lower half of the body. Okay, upper half of the body is nice and free, lower half heavy. And we're going to turn from side to side again. Yeah, trying to keep that lower half of the body still, if possible. And this time, when a hand comes behind us, that arm behind us, very heavy, bring the hand up, bring the shoulder. Basically, we're trying to allow the movement to come from the shoulder, bring the hand down, it's heavy. Yeah. And then using the back hand again, bring it up. Heavy, working with the shoulder, dropping the hand down in front. Okay, so doing that from side to side, heavy through the lower half of the body, but trying to remain with a sense of balance as well. As if it would be really difficult to knock us off balance. The hands are open, but the fingers are slightly bent. If you can see what I'm going to keep going with one hand, but the fingers are slightly bent over at the top like a little bear claw, but the hands themselves are nice and soft and active, the palms. Noticing how this feels for the shoulders and also for the spine. Shoulders open. Very good for a feeling of getting in between the shoulder blades, opening up the shoulder blades, getting into the spine. Good. So remember our three principles. We're allowing everything to arise and pass. We're enjoying flying movement and breath and using those things to connect us in to the moment. Okay, slowing that down. If you need to move your feet slightly closer together again, we're just going to do a short bit of Wuji. And this time I'm going to set us up from the top downwards. So the hand comes to the crown of the head, pushing through the crown of the head. As we're doing this, having a sense that we're pushing upwards with the spine, but also downwards with the spine opening in both directions. Okay? Lift the shoulders. Hold them here. I'm going to set us up moving down through the body just to encourage more of a sense of a grounding today. Then allow the shoulders to come down, allow them to be heavy, allow the arms to be heavy. They can come out slightly as if they're being held up by pillows. Yeah. The fingers can point and then the palms can relax. Yeah, good. Allowing the chest to feel like it's free. Free chest cavity. Belly is soft. Starting to have a sense of open, alert upper half of the body that's free, but we're also allowing the body to relax and give its weight down to the lower half of the body. See what that means for you. Just take a moment to release the pelvis. So you might like to gently circle it in one direction and then circle it in the opposite direction. Have a little bend in the knees. As you bend the knees, perhaps noticing how much more weight feels like it's flowing down into the feet. Bring your awareness to the feet. See if you need to adjust them in order to get a sense of the weight flowing evenly through the whole of the base of the foot, the whole of the surface of the sole of the foot. So we're allowing as much weight and tension to flow out through the soles of the feet as possible. Sense of balance and grounding. Just going to take a moment to work on the breath here as well. So if you need to, you can close your eyes to do this, otherwise having the eyes open. Resting the awareness on the crown of the head. Just noticing what's going on in the crown of the head. And we're going to combine a scan with the breath. So on an out breath, I'm going to talk to you about what we're going to do first and then invite you to do it afterwards. On an out breath, we're going to run the awareness down through the body in one flowing motion. We're just noticing what we find. And then on an in-breath, we're going to bring the awareness back to the crown of the head. Natural breathing, just noticing. So awareness from the crown of the head, breathing out, scanning the awareness down through the body on a single out breath. In-breath, we're bringing the awareness back to the crown of the head. Out-breath, flowing the awareness down. Just scanning through the body. And when you're ready, on an in-breath, coming to the crown of the head. Just doing that a couple of times with your own breath pattern. In-breath, it comes to the top of the head. Out-breath, the awareness flows all the way down through the body. Good. Allow the breath to normalize, to stabilize. If you need to, you can have your hands in the belly. Just tuning into any movement we can find in the belly linked to the breath. Any movement at all you can detect going on in the belly that's caused by the natural breath. Starting to allow a feeling of exaggerating that movement, perhaps bending down through the knees slightly. On in-breath, pushing down through the knees and the feet and opening up the body. Out-breath, coming back down into the knees. In-breath, opening the body. Out-breath, allowing it to close on itself. Tuning into that sense of pulsing. And on an in-breath, as we rise up, I'd also like you to have a feeling of moving through the feet at the same time. So the broad body is growing upwards, but it's also growing downwards. Perhaps it's also moving out to the sides slightly as well. Let's bring the hands down by the sides. And on your next natural in-breath, bring the hands up. Above the head, working well within natural limits, breathing out, bringing the hands down in front of the body for our 3 clearances. Breathing out, breathing in, opening up to energy and life. Breathing out, just relaxing back down again. Another clearance, our last clearance, sense of energy, pulsing open, a sense of clearing through the body on this final movement. Clearing through the body and getting ready for our practice. Hands coming down by the sides. I thought we'd just start off with a mini exercise of pushing heaven and earth away from each other. So I talked a moment ago about, on an in-breath, feeling like we're growing up and down at the same time. So I thought we'd work on that with our pushing heaven and earth. We're going to do a simplified form. Hands like we're holding onto a ball. Just start off with feeling like the hands and fingers are active. Whatever that means for you. And then we're going to push the palms away from each other. So pushing in opposite directions. As we're doing this, coming back through the knees and then opening out the body and using the hands to represent what's going on inside the body. This sense of allowing the hands to come back, and so we're kind of coming in on ourselves around the belly area, and then we're pushing out in both directions, pushing out through the head, pushing out through the feet. Coming back down. Pushing in both directions, all the way through the body. Good. So we can link with this with the breath again. In-breath. Out-breath. In-breath. Out-breath. In-breath. Tuning into that sense of the body coming in on itself and the body moving in both directions. Good. Hands coming back together again, just taking a moment to stand here. And the other thing that I'd like us to do, just briefly before we get on with our 18 form, in fact we're going to do 2 more things. The first thing is I'd like you to stretch out your arms gently. So try and keep the elbows bent. Try and see where your natural amount of movement is. Okay? Now push outside that. Okay? Come back in on itself. So what's the difference here? Can you notice what the difference here is between this part of the movement and the stretching out? Come back in. Here, This is natural opening up of the body. Use the breath and it will start to naturally open for itself. Here, notice if the body starts to lock. Okay, so this is the principle we want to work within. Here, we're not going to open up the body. Here, we are going to open up the body. So allow the arms to come back down again. That's what I'd like you to try and work with. I'm especially looking at you, Aline, who tries perhaps a little too hard, but you can see hopefully what I'm trying to get at there. The difference between really trying to stretch and working well within limits. So the last thing I'd like to do is a little exercise, and actually we can start to bring this into our 18 form, is first of all just bring that arms up in front of you. Okay, now bring the hands down again, and this time I want you to lift the hands with a full awareness of the whole movement. So have awareness of the whole movement. Awareness of the whole movement. Okay, so a big difference between this and then trying to notice the whole movement. Okay, and we're going to do that one last time, and we're going to try and combine the awareness of the whole movement, but also trying to have a feeling like we're not trying to engage the mind to do it. Okay, so just try this a few times. We'll use it to come straight the way into the 18 form. Just working with the hands, don't worry about the rest of the body. Hands coming up, hands coming down, awareness of the flow of that movement without actually consciously getting involved with it, without trying to, direct it with our minds, allowing it to happen. So awareness, but natural flowing motion. Allowing everything just to arise and pass. Good. Okay, put the hands down just for a moment. So we'll start on the 18 form. So these are just things to have going on in the back of your mind that I'll try and remind you about throughout the session. First part of the 18 form is the harmonizing chi. The idea is that we're bringing the whole body together. So the hands come up and the hands come down, as we've just been doing. So can you, first of all, tune into that sense of flowing movement that doesn't stop? If there's a point at this movement where you feel like there's a stopping point or a jarring point, see if you can smooth that out and have a flowing sense of movement, flowing sense of awareness, flowing sense of movement. Good. Okay, and then the rest of the movement is that we're going to sit down like in a chair. So imagine that we're sitting down in a chair. Don't go too far. Try and have the sitting bones just coming directly down. And we want to have a feeling like we're not moving forwards or backwards when we're doing this. We want to have a feeling of real grounding again. Do you remember that sense of grounding and balance through the body? So the full movement is the hands come up as we sit down, and then the hands come down as we stand up. This is in breath, and this is out breath. Good. Okay, so keeping going, trying to get this movement flowing. Trying to stay well within natural limits. Yeah, very simple movement. I'm just going to try and keep an eye on what's going on. When we're doing this, when we're standing up, see if you can get that sense of pushing through the soles of the feet again. Grounding, nice. Yeah, that's good. And when we're coming up with the hands, they're very soft, and when we're coming down with the hands, they're feeling really open in the palm and the fingers are alive. Good. A couple more times, let me just check that. Try standing straight up through the head. You're moving over to one side today. Keep going, everyone, please. So you're looking at the camera, which is making it worse, I think. So just use the hand on the crown of the head and stand up through the crown of the head. Yeah, and your left side is down today. So bring your left side up and your right side down. Opposite way, opposite way. Keep going, there. So and now relax there. Good, you're closer to a regular standing position. When you're watching the camera, you're tending to go increasing. Everyone else can just put their hands down by the side. When you're watching the camera, you're tending to go even further in that direction because it's a mirror image. That's it, nice. Okay, so the second part of the form is the opening of the heart. Okay, so the hands are going to come up facing each other. They're going to start turning out to the sides around this sort of area, if you can see. That means that we can continue to allow them to rise upwards. If you can see that, they're still rising from here to here. They're still rising. It's going to help with your sense of flowing movement. And then as they rise and open, before they get to that point at which you want to then turn the hands round, we actually want to start that process of turning the hands. So they're going to come up, they're going to turn while they're still moving outwards. That's nice. And then they're going to come down again. Yeah. And then facing each other, rising up. They start to turn. Palms start to open out. They're still moving up at this stage. And then about here, we're turning the hands before we get to our extension and then bring them down. Good. So we've nailed that part of it. Just tune into how nice it can be not to go to full extension here. See how nice that feels in the body. And that's good. Let's start to bring in the whole movement. So coming down through the knees, bending the knees, and then breathing in, bringing the hands up, opening up the body, turning the hands before they reach the extension, breathing it out, the body relaxes back down again. Good. Breathing in, breathing out. So hopefully these small movements that we're tuning into with the hands and the way that the arms keep moving can help you with a feeling of constant flow. Yeah, good. Dad, do you want to try this sitting down for a bit? Because your standing posture seems to be very lopsided today. Would that help you? Or do you want to keep going? It's completely up to you. Do whichever you prefer. Stay standing if that's better. That's fine, no worries. Okay, everyone, just let me have a look at so relaxing down, breathing in, hands together, yeah. Out to the sides, still rising, turning before, nice, Bridget. Nice, good, Aline. That's nice, Tracer, breathing in nicely. Keep the hands rising. So if you watch me, Tracer, we'll do it together. I'll follow exactly where your hands are. So keep the hands rising, turn them, keep them rising slightly. Yeah, now turn them out around and then bring them down. Yeah, nice. So bring them up, keep them rising, going out and then turning. Nice. Good. So last time, just enjoy the movement for what it is. Good. Okay, so we come to the separating of the clouds. So that first of all, the hands start to come together, The hands are quite active, feeling of the palms being soft, fingers alert, but that kind of sense of activity in the hands. Yeah. And then we allow them to cross over, first of all at the wrists, and then further up the hands. Remember, the arms are slightly away from the body. And we're trying to tune into a sense of how that can allow the body to remain grounded. If you go out this far, or if you come in too close, it has an impact on the way that you can feel balanced and grounded. So the arms drift up, they really float up. Here, allow a sense of the rib cage to open up. Letting go of the rib cage, particularly at the sides. And then here have a sense of the shoulders being relaxed, the armpits being open. And then here, we're just activating the hands, we're looking up, pushing apart, perhaps a sense of resistance as we do that top point. And then as the hands come down, trying to have the hands quite active as they come down. Good. Now, when we're doing this, try and keep that sense of natural awareness of the whole movement. Remember to look up. Slight feeling of resistance as we part the clouds. Bringing the hands down well within natural limits. Aline, you might want to just stretch less as you come down. Yeah, good. Yeah, okay, so let's add the full amount of movement. So coming through the knees, dropping through the knees, and then crossing the arms, opening out the body. Floating the arms, allowing the body to open out really naturally, and then parting the clouds, a little bit of resistance, and then coming back down through the knees. Trying to keep the awareness going throughout that whole movement of the arms coming down. So in breath. Float arms, open the body. Slide the hands, out breath. Full awareness of the arms coming down, coming back down through the feet. Good. In breath, opening up the body. Moving in both directions, up and through the feet. Out breath, parting the hand with the resistance. Good, coming back down through the knees. Keep going, let's have a little look at how things are going. In breath, floating the arms, yeah, good. Gently opening through the armpits, pushing in both directions. Aline, can you look up slightly less? It might be just your camera angle, but it's looking like you're kind of, as you're looking back, you're actually bending back slightly. Try and just look directly up and try not to bend the back when you're doing this. So, Dad, you're still standing slightly over to one side. See if you can allow the body to straighten up. So float the arms. Good. Hands only really become active when they start to part the clouds. I can't really see your hands. I'm just going to change my stance so you can see what's going on more clearly with my hands. So the arms come up, they become active around here. The fingers are pointing upwards, they're pushing away from each other. Good. Okay. Let's try one more time, just feeling how natural the flowing motion can be, opening up the body. Enjoying that. Nice. Okay, just take a moment, allow the arms to relax. We've done a lot there at the start with the arms, the shoulders, the hands. Good. So, our fourth movement is our rainbow dance. So the feet are going to be as far out as you'd like them to go. If you're going to move your feet further out, it's going to open up the lower half of the body more. So we're going to move into the opposite knee whilst this leg is straight. Yeah, so moving from into the knee, opposite leg is straight. Just try moving between the 2 points. Now, while you're doing that, see if you can have the balance between nice balance between the front and the back of the weight of the foot in terms of your weight. So try not to be coming too far forwards. Try not to be leaning too far backwards. Dad, you're okay to continue. Put your thumb up, and if you're okay, and we'll just do the top half in a minute for you. Okay. The knee, check that the knee is coming directly over the foot and it's not coming out to the sides. So just look down, see that the knee is coming over the foot. If you need to adjust the feet or your stance to allow that knee to move more easily over the foot, then do that. Now, when you're moving between these 2 points, if we drop onto one side with the knee, can you just allow this leg to open out? Can you allow a nice feeling of just gently opening out through the inner thigh in particular, letting that leg be straight rather than forcing it to be straight? And work with the other side as well. Okay, and we're going to have a really nice sense of grounding as we shift the weight. Okay, upper half of the body. So, Dad, you can start joining in now, hopefully. So the elbows don't want to tuck in at any point. We want to try and have them at equal distance the whole time. Okay, and we're bending the whole spine. Trying to get a sense of the whole spine being flexed. Trying to allow the lower half of the body to remain stable. The hands are quite active again, and they're gently, so we can have a sense of a soft palm, but fingers active and slightly allowed to slightly curl, and they're holding up the rainbow. So the palms of the hands are facing directly up to the ceiling. Yeah, good. Allow the shoulders to be relaxed while we're doing this. Okay, and then the whole movement. So we look down at one hand. That hand we're looking down at is our straight leg. Check that the straight leg is relaxed straight. And then come up again, look forwards, and then drop through the opposite knee. Allow that leg to be straight all by itself. Don't force it. Look at that hand. Okay. And here we're on an in-breath. We're standing up, in-breath. Out-breath as we look and bend. In-breath, out-breath. Trying to remember that sense of trying to keep the body as balanced as possible and trying to allow the weight to flow down through the soles of the feet. Okay, so keep going for me. Nice. Yeah, looks good. So tuning in, it looks like you're all tuning into that sense of really allowing the spine to bend in both directions. Nice. Good. Bridget, don't forget to look down at that hand. Yeah, go to the other side, that's it, and look down at the hand, nice. When you look down at the hand, try not to allow the elbow to come in, which is what quite often happens. So when we look down, it can tend to come in towards the body. Try and allow it to stay away from the body with the elbows. Yeah, nice. Teresa, I like the way that you're moving your weight a lot. That's good. You're moving your weight really from side to side, which is excellent. Dad, how are you finding it on the chair there? You all right? Do you want to do a couple more so I can see what's going on, or are you a bit tired with this? So turn and look at the hand and bend. Yeah. Yeah, good. Come up, move to the other side. While you're sitting there, just bring the awareness to the spine and the bend you can get going with the spine. Okay, everyone, allow your hands to come back down. That's quite a lot of arm work again. Have a little bit of a shakeout. Good. So our next movement is the rowing movement. Again, it's quite simple. A couple of things to bear in mind as we're in this squatted down position, trying to have a sense of the crown of the head moving in this direction and the tailbone moving in this direction. Okay. And we're coming down as much as is comfortable through the knees, but we're also coming down, even though we're allowing the head to come forwards and the tailbone to come down backwards, we're still having that sense of balanced grounding, if that makes sense. Perhaps just coming up and down through the knees to start with, to get a sense of how the body can feel grounded and balanced while we're doing this, whilst the crown can feel like it's coming forwards, tailbone backwards. Okay, Dad, you should be able to do this sitting down still as well. We're going to be rowing, but try not to have too firm a grip on the oars. Gentle, yeah, sense of gripping the oars. And this is a really nice one to bring the oars forwards. This is a really nice one to have a sense of constant movement. Fists come up the sides of the body, relaxed. Yeah, up through the body and then up and out. So we're getting a real sense of a circular motion. So they're coming up and out and then down. Yeah, good. So let's link it with the breath, breathing in as we come up, out as we come down on our circle, in as the fists come up the sides. So working within your maximum and trying to have a sense of this movement never stopping, flowing movement that doesn't end. Good. Nothing much to think about, just resting the awareness on the full movement. Try not to lose track with the awareness. Good. I think everyone's fine with this. So our next movement, let's have a little shake out again. So our next movement is the rolling ball. So this is where we have the hands, they come up a sense of a ball, and one hand comes back and rolls over the top of the shoulder. The other hand is still moving forwards, whilst here they're still having a sense of moving forwards, and then they start to come back together at the same time. It's like they're pulsing out at the same time and then pulsing back in at the same time. Okay? So here is another one where we can overstretch. And in overstretching, do it now. Try overstretching and see that sense of, going too far can bring tightness, particularly into the arms and the chest. Okay, so trying to work well within our sense of natural movement. So breathing in, we open up the chest and the hands move out and the hand rolls over the shoulder. Breathing out, they come together again. So the head is relatively stable. We're looking forwards at that hand. Chin is probably going to be slightly dropped. Expansion and contraction, natural movement, okay? You can also have a sense of energy and life in the hands, and perhaps getting a sense of how the hands are kind of connected. The palms are kind of connected. As they're moving out from each other, perhaps losing their strength of that sense of connection, and then a sense of them being more connected as they come back towards each other. Right, remember that we've got a grounded lower half of the body. Remember that we're trying to stay balanced. And then allow the movement to flow. Good. Okay, coming back to center, we won't do too many more of these because the arms are likely to get a bit tired. Give them a shake out again. Everyone okay still to continue? Everyone good? We're not doing too much? Yeah, good. So, how are we doing for time? Okay. So this one is where we're holding on to the. I can show you. We're holding on to the balls. So you can actually do this with a couple of balls. We want to have a sense that we're not going to drop the balls at any stage. Okay. One hand is in front of the belly. The other hand is behind the belly. And it's on a level of the kind of lowest point of the arch of the back before we hit the pelvic area. Okay. So one hand is in front, one hand is behind. We're going to have distance, a sense of distance between those two hands, but we're not going to be extending too far. We want to have a feeling of grounding and balance still. Okay. So grounded, heavy lower half of the body, feet are slightly further apart if you'd like to, and we're going to get a sense of shifting the balance, but still having a real sense of grounding as we do it. Okay, then this hand is going to point out. Yeah, now we're going out, not up, really. Yeah, so out, not up, and not pushing out too far. If you're out here, it's tightening you. And you're also going to lose your sense of balance. So staying within the balance, and then we swipe the hand round in front of us, keeping the arm, the elbow bent. The hands switch positions. We stretch out, yeah, and we come back. And we have a sense of that front arm sort of swishing, as if it's swishing through air or water. So swish it through, we drop the weight, and we come to the other side. Okay, now the other thing that we can do is we come and point the finger to one side. We can come up slightly through a tiptoe in the opposite leg. Yeah, still trying to keep balance, but slight tiptoe, and then drop the weight, move the hands. Slight sense of a tiptoe. Yeah, good. So this is breathing in. This is breathing out. Good. Tracer, on that side, you're tending to go a bit far and unbalance the body. So just come in a little bit and try and have that sense of, that's nice. Try and have that sense of keeping the body heavy, grounded and balanced, not going too far. Good. You'll notice that the upper half of the body will bend out less as you do that. Good. Okay. Dad, do you want to try this just with the front arm? Or is it too much? So you could swipe and then bring the other hand out. Yeah. And then swipe it around in the water, bring the other hand out, point it in the opposite direction. That's nice. Swipe it out. Yeah. And then bring the other hand up. Yeah, good. Nice. Is that all right? Yeah. Good. And I think we've probably got, Paula, I'm just presuming you're doing every part of all of these movements perfectly, as I can't see you. I'm sure that is the case. Right, so we'll do one more movement for today. We've got time, yes. So this one we've done, we've worked with the swishing around of the balls. We're now going to move to this extension out to the sides. So this is the moon. So to start with, let's just naturally swing from side to side. Up in the corner. Dad, you can still do this sitting down. Up in the corner, up in the corner, and noticing what's going on with the weight. And if you'd like to, you can bring that opposite toe into play. Yeah. Just enjoying that sense of movement, not worrying about the breath. Swinging the arms. And as you're doing this, perhaps getting a sense of there being a stretch that goes diagonally through the body. Allowing that to happen rather than forcing it to happen. You're going to get a really lovely twist through the spine as well. Good. And we're looking at the hands if possible. Okay, just allow the arms to come back down again, give them a shake. So, feet, wider stance. And we're having this sense of really shifting the weight. Yeah. As we shift the weight, see if we can remain planted. So when we're coming up this way, we still want to have a sense that we're actually balanced. With the weight is still traveling nicely down through the sole of the feet. We're going to be rising up, but there's still that sense of balance. You can just try that a couple of times. Rooting down here, one side of the body, see if you can just pick the opposite foot up a little bit. Get that sense, yeah? Good. So the hands are heavy. It's like we're holding on to, well, we are holding on to the moon, so it's going to be blinking heavy. But so heavy through the hands and the arms, and then coming up, arms are stretching slightly behind us, looking slightly behind us. Hands are slightly behind us, yeah. Heavy, breath out, bending the knees, breath in, looking slightly behind us with the hands. Breathing out, relaxing the arms and hands. Breathing in, looking slightly behind us. So good. Keep going. Breathing out, shift the weight. Good. Nice. Keep the shoulders relaxed. Work within your natural limits still. This is one where we do stretch, but we want to stretch within our natural limits. Dad, do you want to try this just with that arms? So bringing them up to one side and looking at them, and then allowing them to come down. Yeah. And then slightly stretching out. That's it. Nice. Good. A couple more times. Weight transference. It's keeping the body balanced and grounded. Nice. Okay, I think we've got time for one more, so let's try one more. Dad, you can do this sitting down as well. So the hands are going to have been here, out to one side or here, either way. And then one hand comes down to a cradling position. And the other hand is going to be pushing across. And this one, we're going to be turning the upper half of the body and pushing through the hand. So to start with, let's come back to turning the upper half of the body. Yeah. See if you can really tune into that sense of most of the movement happening up here. The lower half of the body, make sure that you're really nicely grounded through it. Try bringing the hand onto the belly and the chest. And see if you can move the belly and the chest rather than the hips. Just enjoying it, not trying to push it. Good. Okay. And with that motion in mind, bring that hand down to cradle. This arm is gently bent, it's relaxed, the shoulder is relaxed. Okay? And then the hand is coming across, the shoulder on this side is relaxed. The palm is really alert because we're having this sense of really pushing out through the palm. Can you get that sense of activity through the palm as you push through it? And when they come back together, it's relaxing we're coming into that ball-like shape. We're turning the hands as if we're feeling around the edges of the ball. Circling our hands around the edges of the ball, very nice. Yeah, and then we're moving to the opposite side. Yeah, so you're pushing to the side and looking at the hand. So the hands coming back together again. They turn as if there's an actual ball there and we're feeling around the edges of the ball. Then we're pushing out actively through the hand. Good. So here, grounded body, perhaps having a sense of, we'll move on to this at another point, a sense of energy, a sense of connection through the palms, still having that sense of connection through the palms. And pushing away, seeing how that sense of connection lessens. And then see how it engages again as the palms start to face and we actually turn the ball. Dad, can you give this a short bit of go before we finish? So yeah, push outwards towards, that's it, good. Hands come together above each other, yeah. Turn as if you're holding the ball, yeah. And then push in the opposite direction, nice. Good. Couple more times. Nice. Good. So from the ball, circle the hands round the ball and hold the ball to the side. And just allow the hands to come into the belly. And as you're doing this, you're having a feeling of bringing some energy back into the belly. Allow the hands to just rest one on top of the other. Allow the body to settle. Allow the mind to settle. Allow the breathing to settle. Allow the energy to settle. A little shake out of the body. Perhaps a couple of deeper breaths. Nice. Dominant hand forms a gentle fist. The other hand's going to wrap around the top. 3 bows. Our first bow to each other. Thanking each other for this experience that we're sharing. Our second bow is to all our teachers, past, present, future, for passing on their knowledge. And our third bow is to ourselves, and we're bowing to everyone who's given us life, our parents, our ancestors, going back all the way to a sense of oneness. And there we go. Just going to unmute, or if you'd like to unmute yourselves. Most people are unmuted now. Everyone all right with the practice today?
Wonderful.
Yeah?
Yes.
Cool. Was it all making sense?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
It really makes you realize the difference between exercising like an automaton and exercising, really being aware of every inch of your mind and body.
Yeah. And I think to do that, it requires us to really let go of thoughts, doesn't it? You know, to be in that, to be so focused on the movement, we have to let go of the thoughts, because, you know, it takes so much of our awareness up. And so it's, you know, it's a really good mindfulness technique.
Yes.
But did everyone get a sense of that grounding down and staying within the sense of balance, not trying to get unbalanced? Did that feel okay?
Yes.
Yeah, that felt good.
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 Good. And we've got about halfway through the 18 forms. So I think next week we'll try and go the other half. And then once we've gone through that in detail, so you've got, because I think it's really nice to get a really hone in on the little parts of the movement. And then after that, we'll start to try and look at how the energy feels when we're doing that. Okay? Is that okay? Anyone got any questions? All good? All good?
Good,
right.
thank you.
That felt lovely. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Enjoy the rest of your day, everyone. Have a lovely Sunday.
Bye.
Bye.